Thank you, Cancórla. Minister, the package of measures that you announced in the July stimulus, they are positive. I think I heard you describe the package as the next stage in your response to COVID-19, and in that context, those measures are welcome. There are some omissions and missed opportunities, but as I said, there are many positives. The plan in its entirety has been described as lacking in scale and ambition by SME Recovery Ireland, and there is more than a grain of truth in that statement. It's like as if somehow this is a holding measure, steadying the ship in turbulent waters, putting down an anchor, but not really moving forward. And while stability matters, there is still, Minister, a real and understandable sense of frustration around some missed opportunities. Now, to look at some of the detail. The extension of the wage subsidy scheme and the pandemic unemployment payment, that's really important, and that's good news for a lot of people. The fact that the wage subsidy scheme will be extended to the end of March 2021 and its extension to new and seasonal staff is a positive move, notwithstanding what the point made, and the excellent point made by my colleague Deputy McNamara, which I think really you should take into consideration. Also, the grant aid, the $200 million for retraining for those who have become unemployed, is a positive move. But, Minister, there have been missed opportunities here also. There's a real concern that those earning less than €151.50 will not get government support. And I'd like if you would explain your rationale in exempting those low earners. Now, as far as the PUP payment is concerned, I expressed my views on this last night to Minister Humphreys, but subsequently we voted through a section that those on PUP should be actively looking for work. So I suppose my question is this: does that mean if you work in a bar that remains closed, you have to actively seek work? Does this mean if you're a musician or one of the many thousands employed in the arts and creative industries, that you have to actively seek work, even though your sector is in lockdown? Does this mean that if you own a minibus, a coach, any type of vehicle that's used to transport mainly foreign tourists around the country, that you need to actively look for work? Think, apart from anything else, about the huge displacement effects that that will have in some sectors that are struggling to find a way of surviving with COVID. Sectors where people are using their imagination, their ingenuity, their creativity to get back into the labour market in their own sector. So are we saying to these people, your sector is closed, we don't know when it will open, but hey, we have training available. We have courses that will help you upskill in a totally different sector. Now, Minister, that's inherently unfair, unjust, discriminatory. And apart from anything else, I believe it won't work. As I said, it will damage, devalue and demoralise certain sectors. Now, I could understand, Minister, if in 6 to 9 months' time, when we get a better sense of how the economy will stabilise, that we looked at that kind of option. But for now, it's a real blow to many. And I specifically mentioned people who work in or own pubs, the music industry, the coach, tourism sectors, but there are other sectors. And I believe that that should not be pursued for now. I am pleased, Minister, to see increases in the Restart grants for businesses, both in terms of the amounts available and that you have increased their scope and that they're not tied to rate paying. Many times I have asked you and other ministers to increase the level of grant aid available for businesses that are trying to restart, and I think your stimulus package will come as a relief to many businesses. Many businesses, you know, they just need a small little bit of hope that if they restart, if they try again, that there is some real and substantial help there for them. Yes, we have to have the economics right, but we all know that for small businesses, entrepreneurs, hope and belief are just as important. And I think, Minister, your ability to allow people to warehouse tax debt and not to be charged interest on those debts after the initial COVID-19 restricted period or 12 months thereafter is again a glimmer of hope. And people know that the revenue are not waiting to pounce. And again, I think that gives, as I said, that little bit of hope to people. The reduction in VAT from 23 to 21%, I probably don't know enough about this, but it seems to me that more targeted intervention might have been better. And I think if you were going to reduce VAT, the one area that you should have looked at is the tourism and hospitality sector, to reduce it from 13.5 to 9% at least. Now, this is going to have a huge impact on tourism businesses. But, Minister, and my colleague spoke about the regions, it's going to have a much bigger impact in the border regions, in counties like Sligo, Leitrim, Donegal, Cavan, where just a few hundred yards away, across the border, the VAT rate has been reduced to 5%. That's going to make a real difference to many border towns and to many resorts dotted along the border. A bigger impact on a tourism economy that is struggling, that's relying on Irish people to go there and on people to travel across the border. So it's a double whammy. Irish people living along the border will get better value on the other side because of the lower VAT rate and may be inclined to travel, but equally, that's fine, but equally, those who traditionally come across the border in very significant numbers to Donegal, to Leitrim, to Sligo, may look again because they know that they can get better value at home. And I think many of those tourism providers in those border resorts that are desperately hoping for a decent August are very, very disappointed that the VAT rate remains as it is. Two final points, Minister. The Stay and Spend initiative. Yes, it's great, but what I don't understand is that nobody seems to see it's discriminatory in the fact that some people can never avail of it. An initiative like this should be universally available. And I can tell you, it would be hugely appreciated. I think of my own mother. She'll go mad when she hears I referenced her, but she has an old age pension. She's on a fixed income. If she knew she had vouchers worth €125, she'd love to spend them. On a fixed income, it's the only way many people can afford to go out for a meal, to go out for a day, or just maybe to spend a night away somewhere. If they got 20% discount, it gives them that incentive. Minister, find a way to extend this to everybody. I'm telling you, they'll appreciate it, they will spend it, and they will think that it's a good government initiative. Final point, and it's not dealt with in the July stimulus, but Minister, I'm urgently asking you and your government to find some way to support Aer Lingus. As far as I know, Aer Lingus is one of the few, if not the only airline in Western Europe not to receive government aid. I am hugely concerned that IAG could shut Aer Lingus down, could liquidate the company. The loss of jobs, the loss of connectivity, the loss of the iconic Aer Lingus brand, the loss of competition within the aviation sector, and the desolation of the workforce. It's simply unthinkable. So I'm just asking, Minister, that you and your government look at putting in place a package, some form of state aid, to maintain Aer Lingus as a viable company?